Welcome back to the Twizzy Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Longmore, and your co-host, my partner, my main man, my partner in crime, Konrad. What up, Big Con?
Terry, how you doing? Stay blessed, my friend. Let's just make sure everybody knows that this podcast is brought to you by Next Phase Fitness, located in London, and they're going to keep you in shape, so make sure you check them out if you're in the vicinity. And also Grown Folks Groove Show in London, and you can catch my show on Channel Radio on 7 p.m. GMT time. Terry, tell them more about Next Phase Fitness before we get started, man.
Well, first of all, I like how you got Grown Folks plaque on the back of your wall over there. So you demonstrate like a mug right there. God damn, you got it all laid out there, partner.
Well, see, you got your logo all up on your clothes, so, you know, fast.
And I'm in this tight ass office right here, so it ain't as luxurious as yours, but I'm trying to do it right, like you, partner.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Nah, much love to you, bro. Nah, man, Next Phase Studios is a fitness club based in Northwest London, a 3,000 square foot premises, offering the very best in functional training, classes, and of course, world-class personal training. Yeah, we're blessed to have this facility, indoor and outdoor training. If you're in London, check us out. If you're in London, make sure you get your monkey ass over here. If you're visiting, get your monkey ass over here too. We doing it, and we're trying to be the leaders in our field, doing things the right way, and no fuss, no drama.
Absolutely, my man. So proud of you because you've done a great job with that studio. The facilities are top notch and everything's brand new.
Yeah. We it's as Sam Cooke say, change gonna come.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So it was a long time coming, but we persevered. We stayed true to the brand that we tried to build. We stayed true to the philosophy, and we stayed true to the hustle. The hustle's real.
Absolutely. So let's jump into this, man. So this week we got a few great topics. Let's start out with lockdown 2, Terry. Talk to me about that. Will you think there'll be a lockdown 3, and does the UK have a clue about what's going on?
Well, me, I like my notes and my statistics, so I gotta bring some backup because I came both double guns blazing.
Numbers, man.
I came double barrel these last 2 weeks. But no, as you know, as Konrad said, this podcast is sponsored by Grown Folks Groove Theory, and also Grown Folks Groove, man. It's the thing. So when you put grown folks on top of young people and all folks, we gotta bring you the right folks. We gotta bring you right with the information. Of course, as two co-sponsors, as course your co-host, we try to make sure we give you the right information so you guys stay abreast of what's going out there. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. For those of you who don't know, around the world, London is on what just came out of its second lockdown during this coronavirus period. And second lockdown, I know one ain't enough. They had 2 of them jokes. And they told me there might be a third one after everybody gets slap happy during the Christmas period. So I'm kind of figuring what was the sense of even letting them out in the first place. If you want to get infected and bring the infection rate up. But anyway, we get that later on. So basically, London's been in a lockdown for a month. Wasn't it, Konrad? From November the 5th?
Yep, to December the 2nd, wasn't it?
December the 2nd.
Yeah.
And what London, I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but what London means by lockdown ain't like the same lockdown as in China. Because in China, you get your ass locked up, you go outside and there's water.
And in Europe,
this country, a lockdown basically means you follow restrictions. So to give you some context, when Italy had a lockdown, you had to wear a face mask even when you went outside.
Yep.
Even if you went outside for a walk, you had to wear a face mask. You went to a store, you got to wear a face mask. If you're driving your car in some parts of Italy, you got to wear a face mask. So they made it mandatory. In England, the restrictions are loose. It's not as strict. So in England, England's come with this thing of different tiers. So tier 2, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Now, tier 1 means medium alert. Now, medium, I want to laugh, but I don't want to.
How is one going to be medium?
I'm trying to tell you.
One's supposed to either be large or small.
No. Hey, yo, Carl, on the government website, they say 1 was medium. I tripped out when I said medium is 1. God damn, what is 2? So 1 is medium. I was expecting 1 to be like lightweight.
Yeah, low. That's going to be your small.
Low, small. 1 is medium. 2 is high alert. And 3, get the hell out of Dodge. It's very high alert. They got 3 tiers.
Medium, high, and very high.
Medium, high, very high. Why even make a number? Just say medium, high, very high, and get it over and done with. They think y'all saying tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So when I said, let me go on the government website, let me just find out what tier 1 actually means.
See what the government's talking about.
Then you go deeper what medium actually means. It ain't a whole lot between medium and high.
Oh, why does that surprise me?
And very high is basically don't even come outside. You through booking. Just look out the window. Are they still there?
No, but you can come outside and you can clap. But you can come outside and clap.
Man, listen.
You do that on very high.
England has some very loose things. And then this will make you laugh. So I said, let me do a little bit more investigating what a tier actually means to these people. So I go on a government website and there was a segment that said, meaning of a tier. So basically you go in it and you're supposed to give your definition what tier is, right?
Yeah.
You go on that, what it tells you is what segment of a tier, I mean, like, it just breaks down what tier 1 means by definition of how to categorize a tier. So it doesn't actually define. So I'm thinking, when you say what does a tier mean? A tier means you can't go outside butt naked. You gotta have that's what I think a tier is supposed to mean.
Yeah.
But when you go into it, it just basically breaking down what the tiers are. So you don't actually get a definition of what a tier actually means or a tier segment means. Not that I read. If someone else as looking at this podcast and can get some clarity, please clear this up because I'm lost.
And by the way, speaking of this podcast, hold on, Terry, sorry, we keep forgetting this. By the way, this podcast, make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on none of our broadcasts, none of our podcasts. So don't forget to do that. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, hit the like and subscribe, goddamn it. But no. So to give you some perspective, I said to myself, let me just go onto the sort of like government website to find out what any of this stuff actually means. And by doing so, at least you can maybe get some clarity. But the problem is when you go on the government website, it just takes you to something else. So like say, for example, I don't know, you want to find out what the coronavirus meant or what it is. Yeah. You go on the government website, it don't tell you what it is. It say, okay, click this button and then find out how bad it is, what the numbers are. Okay, you click that number, it says, okay, these are hospitals that are serving you. And you click that button, and these are doctors that are in the hospital. I don't want all that goddamn information. I just want to know what is the virus.
Oh, it's Alice in Wonderland. You're going down the rabbit hole.
You're going down the rabbit hole. But the main important thing to understand about the tiers in England is that when there's a lockdown, the one thing you can be certain is that if you're in London, it's whatever. Man, you can go to the store, you can fart, you can walk down the street, get some zooms and wham, get you some milk and cookies. You can get what you want.
No doubt.
And depending on where you at in London, you can get what you want.
You can do whatever you want and however you want to do it. So there's supposed to be like a mask mandate where you're supposed to wear a mask if you're going in the store. But that ain't true, because if you look bold enough and bad enough and look at the security guard like this, he ain't gonna stop you. So you just go ahead on in the store with no mask.
He don't let you go on by. He don't want that drama. He don't want that smoke.
He don't want that smoke.
He don't want that smoke. So I mean, on a serious note, I think the problem is that for me, what I've always struggled with when it came to the restrictions is the social distancing, right? Yeah. So because most places in England, I think anywhere in the world, they're not designed with massive hallways,
No.
huge corridors, or large counters for reception so you can't touch the person. It's all built with close proximity for convenience and also for money. Because if you have counters close to each other, it means that you can have more people coming in and out.
Yeah.
So now, when you tell someone you can't go into the store unless you have a social distance of 1 meter or 2 meters behind the person, you go into the same store, but you gotta have a social distance. But then once you're in the store, then it's you could be within 5 inches of them, touch the same thing. So I've always struggled with that. So the reality is London hasn't really made it clear to me about, because what happens is they tell you you are back off lockdown, but London's in tier 2, which I just told you tier 2 is high. So we could go into tier 3, which is very high. So it means if you're in very high, certain places you're not allowed to go to. Now, let me give you more context about what high is. Now, Christmas is coming up. So what they've said is you can enjoy Christmas if you're in tier 2 and if you're in certain bubbles. So only 3 bubbles can get together. Now this is it's even more confusing. Now you got the bubbles with the tiers now. So you got tier and you got bubble. Now, if you weren't confused with the tier, you're gonna be even more confused with the bubble. Now, if you're in the bubble, so I'm in one household because I'm over in Northwest London. My main man Konrad is in South London. So we represent 2 different bubbles. So we can get together. That's 2 bubbles. Now, one more bubble, it could be his auntie or his sister. She come along, that's the 3rd bubble. Now, if she got 3 different people in her bubble, they can all get together with the other 2 bubbles because they can share bubbles. Because only 3 bubbles. You understand? So, but there's a but now. There can't be no more than 6 people in each bubble. That's 18 people now. Now, check this out. Who gonna tell me that if my main man Kong got somebody in his bubble, that they ain't from his bubble? They could be visiting him on the weekend from Tahiti somewhere. You know what I mean? So it gets really complicated about what quantifies as a bubble, how long you gotta be in that bubble for it to be a bubble.
Yeah.
So, Con, you take over. I'm done with that one.
Look, man, I've been confused about this bubble thing, this tier thing, this lockdown thing since it started. I was really confused and mad. It's probably the best definition of what I was when they said, okay, we're going in lockdown, but you can go out, you can have a run, you can go out, you can do this, you can do that, and everything's gonna be fine. But yet you didn't have that kind of lockdown in Wuhan, the streets was empty.
Where it came from?
Yeah, they got people out here running around up down the street, running in the park, sitting down on benches, talking about I'm taking my exercise, leave me alone. And they wonder why the R rate keeps going up and going up. So they've done the lockdown for a month. It just got lifted. So you're able to move around. They've made sure, and this is killing me, they made sure, and I know it's all economics, that the pubs opened up. Now, the rule with the pubs is the one that you got to watch. It's more going on with this coronavirus than we know. It's intelligent. Yep. And by that, I mean, you can go to the pub, but the pub got to close at 10 o'clock. And if you're out after 10 o'clock, the coronavirus is going to come and snatch your ass up.
It's very intelligent.
It's a whole new thing. You don't even know what you're dealing with here. You can stay in that pub till 10:05 if you want to. You're going to have the coughs and the whole no ball when you come up out of that joint. They got restaurants. You go to a restaurant. They're keeping people 2 meters apart. That's all good and fine. Oh, and the other thing about the pub, that's the good thing. The coronavirus is super intelligent because if you go to the pub and get a drink, if you're not sitting there with a substantial meal, the Roro gonna get your ass too. So just be careful out there. That's all I'm saying. Be careful.
Get you some grub with that beer because Corona don't like grub.
Make sure you eat well and you go home on time because the Roro out there and it ain't playing. It's taking bodies for real. I think it's all very interesting.
Very interesting. It's an understatement of the year. It's some bull crap. That's what it is.
I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life. I swear to God, it's too much. I'm just hoping. Well, I know what's going to happen, and this is my prediction. This is the way I see it. Christmas, they're gonna let everybody meet, have some turkey, lick each other's face, and then come January, we're gonna be in lockdown tier 7.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Because you know, they told me they want to add another tier.
They got to add
enough.
Tier. They got to add
one more.
They ain't got enough tiers. You got to have more tiers. Yeah. So that's gonna be super high, medium, high, very high. Then they're gonna have super high, and that's the Rick James. That's the Rick James tier. Super high.
The beautiful thing, Con, about this podcast is that we always say the way we see it. We uncut, raw, unadulterated.
Straight off the hip.
We go in.
Straight off the hip.
We straight off the TOP. So when you look at it, the beautiful thing about the coronavirus is that we seem to be forgetting that, we're not forgetting about it, but it seems to be an issue that when you look at the amount of people that are infected. Now, the misinformation is just as worrying as the information, because when they give you information about what to do and what not to do, the misinformation is what they really kill you with. Because now they're saying they got a vaccine either coming, it's been here, or it's on the horizon. I don't know which one you want to believe.
It just, the first person took the dose today. The first dose was administered today, and it was a 19-year-old girl that took the first dose here in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, and today. They actually.
Today.
Yeah,
okay, so you got
the first coming next week.
Right. So next week we might have 2 people taking it. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a bit worrying because obviously when you think about it, we're looking at a situation where even when it comes to the vaccine, there's a lot of apprehension and nervousness around the vaccine itself. Obviously, we know it's needed.
Understandably, yeah.
It's needed. There are some people who are just saying, I ain't taking nothing. There are others who are saying, let the old folks get it first, which they're going to, so it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And then also you think about it, is how brave our government's going to get with enforcing the vaccine. How do you see that, Carl?
So now that's kind of worrying to me. That's worrying because that takes us into a whole different non-democratic type thing where they're going to force you to take a vaccine. And if it's not by force, it's going to be done by limiting your access to do things or your ability to do things. So they were talking about you're going to need to have a vaccine certificate to travel. You're going to need a vaccine certificate to go to live shows, live events, and all that kind of stuff.
They call it a vaccine passport.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the wrong thing to do. I hope we don't go down that road. I don't think we're at that point where that should be mandated, simply because if we see how things go over the next year and a half, 2 years, we don't know. This thing, it may be under control. It may be a whole different landscape of how we can maneuver and move around. So I think if they try to bring that into force immediately, it's going to be an uproar, and you're going to have a whole lot of demonstrations, and people are just going to go rogue, and they're not just going to be forced to take something. My only problem with the vaccine as it stands is I've traditionally known vaccines to take more time to be developed. I think a lot of things have been rushed because they want to make sure that the economy gets itself back up and running. And I can't guarantee the shortcuts have been made, but that's their primary objective. And I think I want to see how it plays out for a little while before. And I'm down the list, so I ain't really got to worry about it too much.
We both down the list. We're at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
We ain't on the list.
No, the list's too long. We ain't even make it on it. So I'm waiting on it. Yeah, I'm waiting to see how effective it is, really, because that's what's important, is that it's an effective vaccine.
So at the moment, you don't see it as a real deal, this vaccine.
As a real deal, I think the vaccine has been created. Yeah, I think that they have tested it. Yeah, I don't know how long the immunity lasts after they give you the vaccine. That's my concern. So if you're taking the vaccine and it only lasts, because the natural immunity, what they were saying, it only lasts about 3 to 6 months. So how is this vaccine going to increase that?
Good point. Very good point. So I mean, obviously, guys, I mean, send your comments in what you think about the vaccine, what you think about the lockdown 2. We survived lockdown 2. Give us your comments about lockdown 3, whether you feel or think it's coming. There's all kinds of conspiracy theories floating around. People have these sort of notions that lockdown 3 is coming, and if it comes, it's going to be, we're going to go to tier 3 or maybe tier 4, whatever that means. Some are saying, I mean, I had one client yesterday, she was just adamant, it ain't happening. The economy's tanked. They ain't gonna, they can't afford it.
I think
they couldn't afford the last one. They did it anyway.
I think it will be a lockdown 3 though, because the numbers, Terry, the numbers are going to go buck wild. Because I've even seen people talking about having Christmas parties. So the numbers are they're going to spike. So there's going to be a lockdown 3, definitely.
Okay, well, let us know what you think about that, people. The second topic we're going to talk about, I mean, a podcast without talking about the USA ain't a podcast for us, man.
Nah, it's just a cast.
Ain't just because we're from DC, but man, we got to talk about US. It's bananas over there right now. So our second topic is life in the US with Trump leaving and Biden coming. That's the first thing. Let's touch upon that, Conrad. Trump leaving, Biden coming. How you see that one?
So it's like you know how hard it is to evict people from houses here in the UK. Yep. It's very difficult, and Trump seems to be under the impression that he has that kind of ability to stay in the White House as long as he wants to. So
what's it called? Squatters' rights?
Squatters' rights. That's what he think he has, squatters' rights. But he forgets his public housing, and they will throw your monkey ass up out of there. Don't even get it twisted.
Don't get twisted.
For real, don't even get it twisted. So my problem with this is he's still promoting propaganda about it was a rigged election. He's still trying to bring cases saying that this kind of fraud was done, and none of them one of them won something, but none of them have made any substantial differences. Matter of fact, some of the recounts that he's had done has given Biden an even bigger lead. It's his narcissism that's really driving him to not concede and to continue to push out information about a rigged election. And it's starting to be to the detriment of the Republican Party, because now a lot of Republican voters are starting to believe him and say, oh, well, if it was a rigged election, then I'm not going to go and vote, which is great for Democrats because they can take over, control and have the House and the Senate and end up.
Plus, the Republicans have 2 primaries come up in January.
That's right.
2 runoffs. So they get that primary 2 runoffs for the I think the state is for 2 seats in the Senate, isn't it?
In the Senate, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be, to the Democrats' benefit for him to keep on spouting off his foolishness. But he is going, because there was even a comment made by...
You said he is going?
He is going. And there was a comment made saying that the Secret Service, they do have a way of getting rid of trespassers.
That's...
So he gonna roll up out of there. What you think about it?
Trespassers. Donald, you still here? You ain't invited, motherfucker. Get your ass out. Bobby, go get the guns. We got trespass.
But you know what? Biden can't even move in on the 20th because they're gonna need to fumigate that joint. Because there's so much corona running around in there. If Biden go up in there,
mad corona jump up in there.
No doubt.
I think Mitch McConnell ain't got it.
That's about right. He's the only
now, how his old ass ain't got it, but Rudy Giuliani got it.
Well, he looked like the devil anyway, so I don't trust that Mitch dude.
Hey, Rudy acting like a cold gangster these days. You say he cutting up?
What? Rudy is showing up acting like he a made man.
He mean monkey like a mug too. Yeah, I know y'all wrong. We fighting this thing.
But did you see that broad he had with him?
Oh, the young one.
Yeah, at the hearing.
She's so stupid.
She straight just got through putting the pipe down when she had that, because she was talking mad foolishness.
Well, the problem again on this, the Trump leaving and Biden coming. You're right. Biden's coming regardless of Trump liking it or not.
Yeah.
But I was looking at CNN last night, and one of the things I find a bit disconcerting is these guys on the Republican side. They are grown-ass men. like old ass men, not even grown ass men, old ass men
Yeah.
in their 50s and 60s. Some of them should be pensioners some goddamn way, rocking on a chair somewhere.
Yeah.
These are lifelong politicians, public servants getting paid buku dollars to look after the public's interest, and they talking that foolishness.
Yeah.
They try and tell Trump, do not concede. That's what some of the more the GOP is saying. You ain't got to concede, Donald. Keep fighting that thing.
Yeah.
And even after it's been clear in Georgia, the one state, they didn't just do a recount. They recounted the recount. You ever
Yeah.
heard of that?
And he called the governor of Georgia and tried to get him to pull some shady moves about, well, just overturn it and get some new electors. I'm like, come, really? Is we doing that now?
It's got so bad, right? So I was talking to a buddy of mine in DC on Friday. Friday just passed. And as you know, years ago when we was coming up, DC was known as a chocolate city.
Yes, sir.
And there were two predominantly black cities in America, Atlanta, Georgia, which is probably still a chocolate city, and DC, which is losing its blackness because they ain't chocolate no more. It's becoming more and more gentrified by the day, which isn't a bad thing because, you know, if it's, you know, sometimes gentrification has its good points.
Absolutely.
Because it should be reflective of how society actually really is. It shouldn't be all white, it should be all black. It should be a collage or a mixture of people. So anyway, as you know, the rhetoric that Trump spread in his 4 years was so widespread, even though DC was 93% Democrat and probably has always been, always will be, there was that 7% that was going Trump, and they made a lot of noise. That's 7%. And that 7% told another 7%, told another 7%, and told another 7%. That became 44% how eventually. And all them bammers from hillbillies all over America came to DC, marching all that foolishness, trying to preach that rhetoric that the election was stolen. Now that is more of a worry than the election itself. It's the outcome and the aftermath. The outcome is clear, but the aftermath after the outcome. So the outcome was clear, and it's the outcome that most people with any common sense would have wanted. But the aftermath of that outcome is going to be a price to pay.
Yeah, because we really haven't gotten to the penultimate event yet because we're dealing with him and his rantings and ravings. But how are these foolish people, his clan, you know, how are they going to behave when he's marched up out of the White House? Because what he has is a cult. Yeah. He has a real cult following. And how are they going to behave when he's marched up out of the White House? Are they going to try to do something retarded, like bring their own militia to DC and, you know, cause a bunch of problems to try to keep Biden from taking up residence? I'm really watching that closely to see how that plays out.
Well, we got to watch that space because I believe that the worst is yet to come. Personally, I don't want to be someone who's being downtrodden or being. I'm just pessimistic. I'm not trying to be drawing any downtrodden outcomes or events, but I'm just being pessimistic as opposed to optimistic. The second point is America racially and politically divided? I think we know the answer to that one, but I guess it's more context. I think we just.
Should we just move on because that's a non-subject?
We just move to the next analysis, but can it repair itself from this racial political divide?
You know, I would normally say not in my lifetime, but I have seen things happen in my lifetime that have surprised me, like the swearing in of Barack Obama. I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. And what I saw demonstrated during the demonstrations in Washington, D.C. and all over the country, and dare I say all over the world, where a lot of people jumped on the Black Lives Matter issue, included a lot of non-Black people. And they were very passionate about how they felt. They understood that when you say Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean no other lives matter. And I saw a comedian. He actually had me cracking up, and it was a serious subject, but he broke it down in such a way that it just was a no-brainer. He said, why is it such a problem to say Black Lives Matter? Black people have been struggling so long that that's our starting point. We just want to matter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you negotiate for matter? We just want to matter. It's not we want to be on top of anything. We want to run anything. We just want to matter. That's our starting point. And they can't even let that, take place. So America was built on racism and colonialism, where they came into, the States and took over the Native Americans' property, tried to kill them off and ended up putting them on reservations. So I think there's a possibility, a strong possibility, America can heal. I think it'll take leaders that are dedicated and selfless to make those changes and be behind those changes and use.
But they always kill them. They kill them all.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have a leader that's willing to be that committed, And I think it can't just be one leader. It's got to be multiple leaders. We've got to attack this on multiple fronts. We have to work within, the political system in order to make those changes, the legal system to make those changes, and touch the hearts and minds of those people that are less enlightened to understand that we're all humans, and we weren't put on this earth to be servants to each other or to be subservient.
Well, yeah, I mean, I counter that in not to disagree with my brother, because I think that's a very eloquent point, but echoing my man, H. Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael, and my man Martin Luther King. We going by any means necessary. We're gonna do this, mug.
Lock and load.
Lock and load. I think that yeah, definitely, it's possible, but there's a lot to do, because on a social level, America has been a very distorted country for the last 100 years, and it hasn't even tried to repair itself other than on a commercial front. When I say commercial front, they do it through sports. So basketball has become very ethnically and racially influenced by predominantly Black players.
Yep.
And now foreign players across the world, because the NBA is pretty much a global sport. Well, it is a global sport, but the NBA itself as an entity is a global organization, because you got players from China, Africa, Europe, as well as America, that influence this game.
Yep.
So it's a very powerful organization. The NFL, it was pretty much American, but the Major League Baseball, NBL, that's influenced a lot by outside of America as well. So the Dominican Republic, as one country, just to name one, heavily influenced a lot of Major League Baseball teams because of their farm system and their drafting system. So on a commercial level, I think America's got it. They got it down pat. There's things that's happening commercially in America, especially through various commercial avenues, that ain't happening anywhere in America, anywhere in the world.
No.
On that level, on that high level. Socially, because there's so much to do socially at the ground level, grassroots level, I believe until that becomes fundamentally sound and foolproof, as in this is a system that works on a grassroots level, I mean, people just get along regardless of their culture, regardless of their race, regardless of their religion, regardless of their ethnicity.
Yeah.
Where the social economic dynamic in America somehow bonds people together, because in America, unlike England, to give people more context, if you're in England and you're on welfare, you just like get looked after. You might even get a house and a car if you're on welfare in this country.
You can get a come up.
You don't come up. You might do better on welfare in this country than somebody's working.
Absolutely.
Now, in welfare in America, you on welfare, you fresh out of luck. You on rock bottom. You ain't got nothing coming.
You smooth out of luck.
You smooth out of luck. You know what I mean? You better get you a job quick. Maybe get 2 jobs, because that welfare check ain't gonna cut it.
No, sir.
And there's a huge difference between not even poor is one thing, po and got it. We ain't gonna talk about po and rich, just po and got it. You ever hear a dude say, man, I ain't got it? When you ain't got it, that means you might have had it, but you ain't got it now.
You ain't trying to share it, but you ain't got it. That's basically what you're saying.
You feel
you po, you ain't never had it.
You ain't never had it. We never had it. So the difference between that margin of social economic dynamic in America is so wide. It's more than dynamic. It's devastating in some communities.
Absolutely.
And that's why whenever a leader arises, there's so much hope because that's all the people got left.
Yeah.
Because you took everything else from them.
Yeah.
And you made them dependent on the government so much that when the government pulls a string here and there and leaves them more exposed, it means they go further and further to rock bottom or to desperation. And that's why the American ghettos are so devastating, because being in the ghetto means that you're relying on whatever means the ghetto provides for you to have provision or sustenance. And we know what that leads to. It leads to penitentiaries, which is another part of the system, another revolving door, another ugly part of our society in America. And then it goes on and on. So crime isn't just an issue, it's on the surface of the crime. So that's why I'm saying America, can it be racially divided? I don't think in our lifetime. I did say that we would never have a black president, and Obama slipped through the cracks.
You and me both.
He slipped through the cracks. And I was happy about that. And he still got a lot of flack for being the first black. This was given about Obama. Okay, yeah, the brother wasn't perfect. Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot of policies. Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot of this, do a lot of that. But are y'all forgetting he didn't have the House nor the Senate? He didn't have the Senate. That's for damn sure. In neither of his terms. And if you're comparing him to Bill Clinton, let's not forget, Bill had the House and the Senate in both his terms.
And he could make things happen a lot easier.
He could make things happen. George W., as clown as that dude was, he had the House and the Senate at least one of his terms, but he had the Senate on both his terms. So don't get it twisted. Now, when people hoop and holler about this monkey joker right here, Donald had the Senate through the entire term and still couldn't get nothing done.
Still couldn't do nothing.
He couldn't do nothing.
He couldn't even undo the Affordable Health Care.
And he couldn't even undo what he was trying to undo. That's a monkey right there for you. You had a monkey in office for 4 years. He had the Senate, because even the Senate was saying, they turned Scooby-Doo like, huh? What y'all talking about? That's one of my constituents. Because he's a monkey. I mean, you could put an ape or gorilla in office and do a better job than what he did. I'm telling you. There are some things that when you look at on the surface of what he did, yes, he fought he did do a lot of things when he was trying to fight for the working class and the middle class. He was trying to get some things implemented for that. But I think what they tend to forget was that he took care of his own first with that tax bill.
And still is.
He made sure he lined them up first.
Yep.
And after they got sorted, then he's like, all right, well, let me look to take care of some other jokers down here. So people miss all that. Yeah. So one of the first things he passed when he was in office was that tax bill. He made it clear. Yo, we ready, boys? Let's go get this money. Let's go get this money.
Let's go get this money.
And so let's not forget that Donald is more for the rich than he is. I'm going to echo what Dave Chappelle said. Dave Chappelle said, I was in a hillbilly town and they were talking about how much Donald is good and Donald is this and Donald is that. He's one of us. He's one of our guys. And whoop, whoop, whoop. Straight up hillbilly talk. He looked around and thought, you're poor, you're broke, you're living in a trailer. Well, I'm living in a mansion. Actually, he's more for me than he is for y'all. So
there you go.
I say more.
There you go. Absolutely.
The last topic I want to talk about is this is gonna make you laugh because I think you're gonna get a kick out of this one. But I gotta put it in there because we gotta have some laughs.
Absolutely.
Can somebody please say Kanye West?
Oh my God.
Where is brother Kanye these days?
You know what? Kanye has a hobby that he needs to focus more on and cut out a lot of his other stuff.
Ain't that a bitch? You need a hobby.
He's got a great hobby. Kanye's music is always been, good. I can't complain about it. I got to see over the last couple of weeks some of his Sunday service stuff where he has his choir and they go around and sing. It's his kind of church thing. And that's actually pretty good. I can't complain about that. But he needs to step the hell away from politics. He needs to step the hell away from a lot of things. Because the last time I saw Kanye, he was having an episode where he was talking about he almost killed his daughter. And I don't know, man. Somebody need to Kim. Listen to me, Kim. Help your man out. Come on.
Hey, I'm just reading here. Do you know that he spent? I mean, it's a drop in the ocean because the guy's damn near a billionaire, but
he spent
around 9.2 million on his unsuccessful presidential bid. That's probably what Kim spent. Kim spent on her tits
and them hips
and them hips. So, what do you want, a receipt?
I don't know what's up with that dude, man. I'm really concerned about it because nobody in this camp is pulling him back and saying, Kanye, let's go and get some help, man, because I can't keep seeing you like this. It's a sad situation, man.
I've been watching this brother for the last 12 months, and I've been looking at some of the stuff he's been saying. I've been listening to the ranting. And in fact, it's been longer than that. Maybe going back 2 years ago. Remember when he came on TNT and he made that outlandish statement about slaves had a choice?
Yeah, slaves had a choice.
And that brother eloquently put him in check by saying that he's morphed into something that he doesn't even recognize anymore. It was probably one of the most intelligent things Kanye's probably heard in the last 40 years of his life.
Oh, absolutely.
But I just believe that when you become, and if we start naming these very affluent or wealthy or rich Black movie actors or musicians, if you start naming, you're going down a list, or entertainers or high profile individuals, I think the only one that, to me, of recent that I can say that still stands out in good stead after all he's been criticized of is LeBron James. I mean, if you look at how Michael Jackson went out, wasn't pretty. You look at how Bill Cosby's in the penitentiary, not pretty. If you look at Lamar Odom's, a basketball player who was highly sought out, drafted by the LA Clippers. I watched Lamar Odom in college.
He got caught up in that Kardashian thing.
Yeah, Kobe wasn't pretty. Now he's broke. I mean, look, the list goes on and on. And then you add Kanye to that list, not pretty. The only upside for Kanye is that he still held onto his money and he's not bankrupt and he's not in a mental institution or something like that. But that ain't probably too far off because the way he's acting like he's this sort of praise maniac or praise erotic genius that we should all appreciate. And when he comes up with something stupid, we just say, oh, that's just Kanye making a statement. So when someone doesn't think clearly about the bigger picture when they speak and they have a platform as big as it is, to me, that's as dangerous as listen to a hillbilly getting a platform and say how much he hates Black people.
Well, he's
because the hillbilly outright has his agenda that he don't want nothing that's non-white or pro sort of Anglo-Saxon that he can appreciate. But when a Black person steps up and he's not even helping his own kind, or he's not just helping people to try to get the ladder, not his own kind, just help anybody. It's almost like you think to yourself, what's his angle? That's what worries me.
He's turning into the Albert Einstein of idiots is what he's turning into, because what he says is just absolutely ridiculous. And he could do better. I think genuinely he has a good heart. I don't think mentally he's struggling, and I think somebody needs to look at his mental health and really try to help the brother out, because it's not looking good for him. He's going to end up going down in history with a tarnished reputation of, just being loony.
I remember when Michael Jackson died, and I remember when the news first broke to me. I was in a client's house in Notting Hill, and we turned on the news, and then it said Michael Jackson passed away. Or I may have found out before I got to the client's house. And we were just talking, and I remember looking at him saying, I'm not surprised he's died. I'm surprised he lived as long as he lived.
I was telling my wife when he was supposed to be doing those 50 shows, I said, Michael is not going to make those 50 shows. He cannot finish 50 shows in his current state of health. Because you can just tell Michael was worn out. I
didn't realize the brother was that bad. He was doped up like on some serious heavy medication.
He was on some serious medication. And
some of the stuff that he was taking is stuff you give like cancer patients. to numb them up so they don't feel the pain.
It's stuff so he was in a coma.
He was actually walking around doped up nearly 90% of the time. His body just probably gave in because he was frail because they stopped. The problem was with him, when they stopped feeding him grits and chicken wings, that was the problem because he needed some fat back on his body. When I saw that brother looking skinny, I said, he hang around too many white folks because he needs some grits. He had no grits and potatoes and some chicken wings. He ain't got nothing solid in his body. So, that was a part of the downfall right there. He wasn't getting no food. That's food that we like to eat.
He had a chicken wing since he left the Jackson 5.
Yeah, when he cut the afro, I think chicken wing was out the window.
That was it. It was all done.
But when he got that Jerry curl, grits was gone.
Can you imagine Michael trying to eat some chicken and then licking his fingers? That wasn't never going to be caught on film.
Licking the finger with grease and the hair grease and a good combination. Something will get mixed up in his mouth. Ain't a good combination.
You remember when my man's hand caught on fire?
Oh, put it out,
Jermaine.
Get Bubbles. What's this monkey called Bubbles?
Bubbles. We're back to Bubbles again.
Back to Bubbles again.
I think on that note, we need to shut it down.
We need to shut it down because when I first heard the government about Bubbles, I was saying to myself, didn't I go to go with a girl named Bubbles? Did she move over here? Boris Johnson got caught in with Bubbles. God damn. Bubbles in there from around the way. Remember Bubbles in them?
Bubbles in them and Nook Nook.
And Nook Nook, yeah, and Ray Ray and them. On that note, we're going to find a way to end this podcast, sponsored by Grown Folks Grooves and
Next Phase Fitness. Make sure y'all check us out, subscribe, hit the like button.
Tell them to tune in to Grown Folks Grooves, comrade.
So you can catch Grown Folks Grooves on Monday at 7 p.m. GMT time. If you go to www.channelradio.co.uk, or if you have Alexa, you can say, Alexa, play Channel 1 music. And Alexa will play my show for you at 7 p.m. if you say it then. So, Terry, tell us some more about Next Phase, and we're going to jump up out of here.
But you have to clear, it's 7 p.m. Eastern time or 7 p.m. UK, Greenwich Median time?
7 p.m. GMT, that's the UK time, and that's 2 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. DC, 2 p.m.
DC. So check into Next Phase Fitness, www.nxtphase, fitness.com. We're also on Insta at Next Phase Fitness, on Facebook at Next Phase Limited, YouTube channel, Next Phase. It's all about Next Phase right now. We'll take it to the next phase.
Next step.
So, you know what I mean? So
this is all about Twizzy. So hashtag Twizzy. Check out the Twizzy podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody, tell grandma, because she's sitting at home by herself in her own little bubble. She can sit and watch us too.
No doubt, no doubt. And come New Year, we're gonna have some competitions for our listeners, and we got some cool prizes coming up in the New Year. And let's just hope we stay safe through the Christmas period. But we got another podcast next week, so you can't get rid of that quickly.
Absolutely.
So we got some guests lined up for you in the New Year as well. We got a female bodybuilder, Amy Boucher. She's gonna be joining us. We're looking at a couple of music producers. Pete Rycroft, he's worked with Little Mix, Maybell, and a few others. We got a couple of singers we want to bring on here on the podcast. You know, we got some interesting things lined up for y'all. A couple of pro boxers. We don't get the names up right now because we don't want to drop down right now. We can't get on low profile because they want to keep a low profile.
Keep it on the low.
Low. So hit us up, hashtag Twizzy. Stay peaceful, stay safe. Remember, coronavirus is real. It's not a joke. So if you're going outside, don't be stupid. Stay safe.
And wear a mask, social distance. Y'all be safe. See y'all next week.
Peace out.
Yo.